A piece of news shook the entire world. Iran made a claim that had never been made before. They said, "We have directly struck America's largest and most important military base," and that base was Udeid Air Base in Qatar. This is not just a base. This is the heart of America's military power across the entire Middle East. When this news spread, the world was forced to hold its breath for a moment. The straight question: did Iran actually do this? Did a missile target the place where thousands of American soldiers live and serve? Did those fateful missiles reach inside that base and cause real damage? That was the question echoing everywhere. Every channel, every newspaper, every analyst, everyone was asking the same thing. First, understand, what exactly is Udeid Air Base? It is located just a few kilometers from Qatar's capital city, Doha. This is the base from which America controls military operations across the entire Middle East. Surveillance planes take off from here. Fighter jets leave from here on missions. Refueling tankers from here keep American air power alive across the entire region. This is where command centers sit, directing operations running across multiple countries at the same time. Thousands of American soldiers are stationed here. This is not just a base. This is an entire city of military infrastructure. Now let's turn to Iran. What did Iranian officials actually say? They said, "Our missiles targeted Udeid." They said this strike was not symbolic. This was a calculated, deliberate, and precision-based military operation. Iranian state media reported that multiple missiles were launched. Some of them reached their targets and struck key sections of the base. Iranian military commanders also said this strike was a clear message to America. The message was, no matter how deep your roots are, we can reach your military bases. The world erupted into chaos. Every headline was explosive. Every news channel was running breaking news at full speed. Governments across the Middle East snapped into action. Every single government sitting in the Gulf put their military and intelligence agencies on high alert, because everyone knew if this is true, this is not just news of one attack. This could be the beginning of a brand new war. Iran claimed this attack was one of their greatest military successes. They said, "Our missiles completely blindsided American defense systems. Our missiles penetrated and caused damage from the inside." Military spokespersons on Iranian television proudly announced that key operational areas of the base were hit. Some reports mentioned that logistical facilities and infrastructure suffered significant damage. Iranian media presented this as a massive victory for their missile technology. But then, America spoke. The Pentagon delivered its response, and that response changed the entire picture. American defense officials confirmed, yes, missiles were launched. The launch definitely happened. But then they said what Iran did not want to hear. They said, "Our defense systems intercepted the incoming missiles. Our defense aid did exactly what it was built to do." The Pentagon stated that some debris did fall inside the perimeter of the base. Fragments came down. There may have been some minor damage, but the core infrastructure is intact. Udeid Air Base is fully operational. Missions are running. Planes are flying. Command centers are functioning. America's military presence in Qatar remains exactly as it was before. So now, two completely different narratives stood face to face. On one side was Iran, saying we dealt America a devastating blow. On the other side was America, saying our base is safe, operational, and our defense succeeded. This clash of narratives was not just a disagreement. This was an information war. And that information war carries just as much weight as the actual missiles do. Why? Because the world's perception shifts based on these narratives. Iran wants the world to see that their missiles can reach America. Iran wants fear to spread across Gulf nations that standing with America is dangerous. Iran wants its own people to see that their military power achieved something real. On the other side, America wants the world to understand that we stopped the attack. Our defense works. Our military strength remains intact. Our presence in the Middle East is safe and stable. Both sides were busy writing their own version of the story. But one thing is absolutely clear. A missile was launched. The target was America's most important base. No matter how much was intercepted, no matter how much damage happened or did not happen, this event itself is a historic escalation. Never before had anyone so openly and directly targeted a base this significant belonging to America. Qatar's government was suddenly in an extremely difficult position. Qatar is a small but incredibly wealthy nation. Balance in its foreign policy is absolutely essential. On one side, America's base sits on its soil. On the other side, it has its own relationships within the Arab world. Qatar also maintains some diplomatic lines with Iran, and now suddenly, on its own land, conditions resembling a war zone were developing. Energy markets also opened their eyes wide. Oil prices had their gaze locked on the Gulf, because the Gulf is not just a political region, it is the energy hub of the entire world. Millions of barrels of oil flow out of here every single day. If conflict grows here, the entire world feels it. Fuel prices, supply chains, shipping routes, everything gets affected. Military analysts stayed awake through the entire night, all of them trying to understand every single detail. Where exactly were the missiles launched from? What technology was used? How did defense systems respond? Where did vulnerabilities still remain? This was not just a post-mortem of one incident, this was a blueprint for future strategy. Because the conditions that created yesterday can create themselves again tomorrow. Missile warfare has now become the fastest and most direct weapon of modern geopolitics. Iran has invested in its missile technology for many years. They extended their range, they improved their accuracy, they developed advanced guidance systems, and all of this was done because they did not have large air forces. But if you have missiles, distance stops meaning anything. America, understanding this reality, has invested billions of dollars into its defense systems, Patriot missile systems, THAAD, advanced radar networks. All of this exists for one reason: detect, track, and destroy incoming missiles before they ever reach the base. These systems were present around Udeid as well, and according to American officials, those very systems stopped this attack. But this incident is also a warning. It tells us that the face of war has changed completely. There was a time when only large jets and naval battleships displayed power. Now, missiles are the game changer. Launch them directly, thousands of kilometers away, without a pilot, without any risk. And if defense fails, even the world's largest base is not safe. Diplomatic circles were also buzzing. Many governments quietly activated their contacts behind the scenes. Other Gulf nations, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, all of them were watching this incident closely. They each have American bases on their own soil. For them, this message was not just meant for Qatar. This message was meant for them too. Some experts warned that both sides could now enter a dangerous cycle. One side attacks, the other responds, and then the first side attacks again. Once that cycle begins, stopping it becomes extremely difficult. But some analysts are also saying that perhaps neither side actually wants a full-scale war. They want strong messaging, but not the intention to set the entire world on fire. For Iran and for America both, the consequences of a large regional war would be catastrophic. So perhaps this strike was a signal, a way of drawing a line. It was saying, we can do this, but we are stopping here for now. The next few days are critical. Will America respond? Will diplomatic channels work? Will tension in the Gulf decrease or escalate further? These questions are still waiting for answers. What we know is this: Udeid Air Base was targeted. Iran declared it their victory. America declared the success of their defense. But between the two, the truth sits in a place still covered by fog, and that fog will take time to clear. In every corner of the world right now, one thing is happening: wait and watch. Governments are on alert. Militaries are on standby, diplomats are busy, and people just like you are trying to make sense of this story. This is a momentous event. This moment will be noted in history, because when escalation like this happens in the Middle East, it is not just that region that shakes, the entire world shakes. New updates on this story will keep coming. Evidence will surface, satellite images will emerge, intelligence reports will leak, and then all of us together will be able to understand this full picture even more clearly. Until then, keep your eyes open and do not look away from the truth.